What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Joe Culpepper Outdoors. I'm Joe Culpepper, and today we're going to be talking about what components on your bow are the most important and which ones do I think should be less priority. Um, just in my personal experience, your experience may be different, your opinions may be different, but this is all from my perspective, what I've seen and experienced, and some people that I know agree with me, some people don't. And so, anyways, let's talk about the V3X. It is in the bow shop in Tifton, which is Powerhouse in Tifton, up for consignment, or its own consignment for sale. And my hunting bow, which I never showed on this channel, but it's a V3X29. It's up for sale on consignment as well. The reason I'm getting rid of that bow is every 3 to 5 shots after I got the 33 back, I was checking the cams and limbs and everything because I was so scared that that bow was going to do something like the 33 did, and it just scared me. So I decided to get rid of that bow and just go back to the Phase 4 for now and see how that goes. That did give me the ability to play around with some things on the Phase 4. I've got a back bar on there right now. We're going to shoot that for a little bit and see how it goes. I've really been enjoying that, so we'll see how it does long term. So what prompted me to bring this discussion to you guys today? Well, when I took both of my V3Xs to Tifton today and bought a bow for my mom. She's been wanting to get into shooting, so I decided to take my Hamskea primer rest and put it on her bow, and I was talking to her about it a little bit, and I told her that I think the Hamskeas are a little bit more accurate than the Q80s, and that maybe it's not by a lot. It is really negligible in a sense, but I do think they're a little bit more accurate. And the Hamskea primer is a cheaper rest, generally speaking. It's $100, and the Q80 MXs that I've been running are $300. So when I was telling her this, the guy that was working there, he's a great guy to talk to and everything. He's always very helpful, very supportive of me and my archery journey. Anyways, he kind of heard what I was talking about, and he turned around and he said, "You're saying that the Hamskea's more accurate than the Q80?" I said, "Yeah, I think it is." And he said, "I would agree with you." He said, "I would agree that the Hamskeas are a little bit more accurate." And so we got to talking a little bit more, and I said, I really think that the integration on the rest is not important either. And he said, "I'd absolutely agree with you." And then we got into sights, and I said, integration on sights is really cool. Is a good feature, I think, but it's not necessary. The pick mount, the center mass Bowtech's using, and the bridge lock that Matthew's using, I said I don't think it's necessary, and I didn't say this to him, but the only benefit I see to it is keeping your sight from being run so far out that you don't have any adjustment room, just in case your impact is a little bit different, because everybody's going to shoot a bow different. I basically run mine all the way out if I'm using a direct mount, but of course I'm shooting Matthews, and they have thick risers, so maybe on the next bow I shoot, the riser won't be as thick. That won't be a problem. So anyways, he said, "I completely agree with that too." And what he said really, after that, really piqued my interest. He said, "You're getting to a place in your archery journey that you're able to see these things that a lot of other people can't see, or they're blind to, because they're looking at the price tag, but you're looking at quality and performance." And that really made me feel good. This guy that's worked on bows pretty much his whole life is complimenting me on my ability to understand how things, or not completely understand how things work, but have a better understanding than most people about that. And I don't say that to brag on myself, but I say that to maybe help some of you guys. So when it comes down to it, the QAD MX is a $300 arrow rest, and it's a good rest. It's accurate, it's reliable, and it does its job. It does its job really good. The Hamskea Primer is a $100 rest. It does the same thing pretty much that the QAD does, a little bit differently, but it does the same thing, and it's a third of the cost. And in my opinion, I would say it performs a little bit better, and it's a lot easier to set up. So if you're looking at getting a bow, don't immediately think more money, more performance when it comes to your rest. That's not the case. Get something $100 to $150. There's a bunch of good options out there. You don't need the integration. Now, if you want to go for the integration, that's fine. That's personal preference. I don't think it's important at all. I think it's kind of a waste of money in a sense. And I've already got the integrate rest myself, or I would go back to using the direct mounts. Now with the sights, I would say if you're shooting like a Matthews or something like that, it's got a really thick riser. Using the integration will be beneficial just because it's going to be harder to get your sight set just right without using that integration, just because of the way the bows are built. They're built to be run with that integration, so they can put more bulk into the riser, make it wider, maybe a little bit more stable, and it's not going to really affect anything if your sight just goes right through the riser or bolts directly onto the front instead of the side. So if you're buying a bow, put your money in your sight. Don't worry too much about your rest. Now, I wouldn't shoot a Whisker Biscuit personally, but that's up to you. If you're taking shots 20, 30, 40 yards and in, and you're never going to do anything more than that, I think a Whisker Biscuit's perfectly fine. I just prefer the drop-aways. I think they're a little bit more accurate, and I think they're a little bit more durable. Personal opinion, but just never been a fan of a Whisker Biscuit, but I like drop-aways. So get you a good drop-away. Don't sink a pile of money into it. Don't put a lot of time into worrying about what you need to get. If you want someone to just tell you a good one, the Hamskea Primer. It's a phenomenal rest. It'll serve you well. It's pretty cheap, but it does its job, and it does it really, really well. For your sight, it's going to come down to what you want. But anything that's a direct bolt onto the side, I prefer a slider. I've been shooting a 3-pin slider, and I really like that. So I would recommend you get like a CBE Trek 3V. The B3 makes a good one. The B3 Exact series, the Exact Hunter is a good sight. And those are the only ones I have experience with, but I know that there's a lot of good ones out there. I know Spot Hog makes some really good options. CBE makes a pile of good options. UltraView's making a good one, but that one's just really expensive. I wouldn't recommend that just for you to start with, or unless you just have the extra money that you want to put into a sight. So we talked about sight and rest. What about your stabilizer? Of course, if you go Matthews, some people, and I've been to 2 different shops and bought bows and talked to two completely different people about the bow stuff. And one of them is, you buy Matthews, you need the bridge lock stabilizer, you need a bridge lock sight, you need the integrate rest, you need the integrate quiver. Basically, what I say goes. I know more than you, and this is what you need to run because it's the best. It's the most expensive. It's the best. And while I understand where he's coming from, I disagree with him completely. Talking to this other guy, and I was asking him about, hey, do I need to, look at getting a bridge lock stabilizer if I go with this bow? No, I wouldn't do it. You're spending more money, and you're really not going to see a big benefit. Okay, that's fine. It's fine with me. This guy was going to buy a bow from him at one point, and he actually talked me out of it, and it was the right call at the time, I believe. But I was talking to him about buying a different stabilizer. I already had one, but he told me, he said, I wouldn't trade in your stabilizer. I'd keep it because that stabilizer works just as good as this one, the one that you're trading to. So just something to keep in mind. So as far as stabilizers go, I really like the CBE Torx, which is also the Elite stabilizer. They make one for Elite, and then it gets labeled Elite and sold, so it costs more money. But it's the same stabilizer, the CBE Torx. The Control Freak from Conquest, I like those. Just don't get one above 12 inches, I would say. Just it's too long and it doesn't do a good job at killing vibration above 12 inches, but anything 8, 10, 12, I believe you're going to see good performance out of, and it's going to do a good job for you. So there's two really good options that you could go with. And of course there's more out there, but that's just what I have experience with. So quivers, I do think your quiver is a time to invest a little bit more money if you're going to hunt with your quiver on the bow. Now, if you're going to put it in your pack or something, it doesn't really matter. I would say the less money, the better if you're just going to keep it in your pack. But if you're going to keep it on your bow, having a quiver that fits really tight to the riser is, in my opinion, extremely important and something that we should all be looking at. A light quiver that's tight to the bow is going to make you more accurate and keep your bow more balanced, because if you have too much weight, your bow's going to rock over like this. And if it's more weight or pushed out further, then your bow's going to lean more. If it's less weight and really close to the riser, your bow is probably going to sit a little bit more level. And I mean, that's just that's pretty simple to see. But so there's places, like I said, to save money. There's places to spend money. One more place I would spend my money in is your release. I've been shooting this Stan Onyx Resistance release, and this thing is phenomenal. I really like this. It's really helped me be a better shot. But I realized that these types of releases are not for everyone. Now, if you wanted to go with a handheld, there's always the hinge, there's the thumb button, and the resistance. Those are three really good options. There's a bunch of different companies that make them in all varying price points. So just go find one. If you want to shoot a handheld, just figure out which one you want and go find one that you like that's in your price. And I think that's a good place to spend your money if you want to shoot an index release, with a wrist strap. Spend a little bit of money on that too. Just get one that's really nice. It's got a crisp trigger on it, so you can enjoy that shot more, and you have more control, and you don't have to have as much creep in your trigger when you go to fire your bow. So a good wrist release is going to run you between $70 and $100, I'd say. You can always go above that. There are some companies that make some really nice ones that are well above the $100 mark, but I don't see that being necessary unless that's just something you want. When it comes to handhelds, some companies are making them, $100. So you could start there. I think there's some really good options in the $150 to $200, and then $200 plus. That's when you get into your stands and your Stands, your Ultra Views, Carters, just those really big name brands that are known for producing really quality stuff. So figure out your budget and find something that fits it and go shoot it, go have fun. So last thing I'm going to talk about on this video is your arrow. And it's not just the arrow, it's the entire build of the arrow, from the fletchings to the insert, the field point, or whatever that you're going to be shooting out the front. How much do those things matter? So this is a Sonic 6.0 from Easton. This is a 300 spine. This arrow weighs approximately 396 grains. So this arrow is incredibly accurate at, I think the furthest distance I've shot it at is 105 yards, and it tracks incredibly well. It does its job. And this is, I believe, an NAP field point. You can get 12 of these for $5. This is a stock insert, I believe 18 grains, if I'm not mistaken. These are pretty much the cheapest vanes on the market, the Blazers from Boning. And this is a stock knock. And like I said, these arrows shoot good, at least out to 105. I'd imagine they track really well past that. Just haven't tested it. Now these are Victory Rips. These are 6,000th straightness. These are 3,000th straightness. So these are a little bit less straight, to be honest. I don't see that being an issue. Same thing, we've got Blazer vanes, we've got a stock knock, I believe it's about 9 grains, a 60 grain stainless steel outsert, and a 100 grain match point, or a match grade field point. Now, the match grade field point, I gotta be honest with you, looks really, really good. Really, really good on this setup. Does the price tag match what it gives you? No, it does not. Like I said, you pay $5, you get 100, or $5, you get 12 NAP field points, 100 grain. You pay $20, you get 12 of these. And do they look good? Yeah, they really do. Does it make your arrow fly any better? No, not really. I would say absolutely not to that. And you could try to make the argument that 6,000 straightness affects that. I would not agree with that argument, but save your money. Get some of these NAP field points, or if your shop gives you field points when you buy arrows, use those. You don't have to spend the money on these. Now, if you're building a target arrow, things are a little bit different, but we're talking about all hunting stuff here, so keep that in mind with everything. This is all coming from a hunter's perspective who just happens to like target as well. I'm a hunter first, a target archer second, so my opinion will definitely be different, or very likely be different from a target archer who just hunts on the side or doesn't hunt at all. So just keep that in mind. These arrows, I believe, are 110 bucks a dozen, and these arrows are 120, 130 bucks a dozen. So not very expensive arrows. They fly straight. They do what they're supposed to do, and I may even do some playing around with some cheaper arrows later, just to prove that arrows don't really matter that much as long as you get them from a good brand. So with all that being said, save your money on the arrows. Don't let anyone talk you into spending more money on your arrows unless that's just what you want to do. But make up your mind before you go into a shop that that's what you want to do. Don't let anyone talk you into it, because they're going for that upsell. So with all that being said, if there's anything I've said that you disagree with, anything that I have misstated, please let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you guys, and you have been responding, and I really appreciate that. So keep that up. Keep liking the videos. You guys keep subscribing. It's been great, and thank you to everyone that has been doing all three of those things: subscribing, commenting, liking the videos, everything like that. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll keep this channel growing and hopefully get out some of the content, or some better content for you guys. You deserve better. I'm just kind of operating on a limited capacity right now. So anyways, with all that being said, thank you so much for everything, and everybody just stay safe, stay in the outdoors. God bless you, and I will catch you on the next one.